Bum, 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 bum. Hello everyone and welcome back to KMBC9 News. I'm your host Tessa, and today is a very special report. Today is the day I've been waiting for all summer. Governor Parson has agreed to let me interview him. Governor Parson, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Governor Parson, you have a background in the Army and law enforcement. That's pretty cool. So, when did you first know you wanted to go into government?
You know, probably because of those two things. When I was in the Army, I first realized what really being a public servant meant. I realized how important the American flag was, how important the Pledge of Allegiance is. And although I'd said it all my life in school, but I really realized what that really meant. And I think the United States Army made me understand of all the people that sacrifice for our country, for people they never know, they never meet, they never see, and you continue to help someone else like that. And I think that's really where my public service started, was there. And then I've had the privilege of being a sheriff back home in law enforcement for 22 years, that you really just get to help people every day and in difficult situations. And I think all of that kind of prepared me for being governor.
That's awesome. Did you ever have to miss Christmas while you were in the Army?
I did. Actually, when I first went in the Army, I went to Europe. I was over there for almost 3 years. Didn't get to come home during that time. So at 19 years old, I was a homesick country boy from a little town in Wheatland, Missouri, of 356 people. But I called my mom on her birthday and called her at Christmas time. But I didn't get to come home during that time. But it kind of helped me. I grew up during that time, learned that I could do a lot of things on my own. Which is good for all of us. We all go through that. You will too someday on that. But it was a great experience for me, and really serving my country changed my life.
Yeah, I know my grandpa, when he was fighting in Vietnam, he had to miss Christmas some too. And obviously COVID is something no one has ever dealt with before. How has it changed your job?
Well, it's been a very difficult time. I'll be quite honest about it. You know, as governor of the state of Missouri, you're extremely busy every day with lots of other issues. But when you put a pandemic on top of all that, and we've never been through anything like that before in our state, we literally I was at the office 62 days in a row, 12 to 14 hours a day, along with my staff. No Saturdays off, no Sundays off. Just trying to deal with the situation in hand to try to protect Missourians and do everything you could to help people at a time of a lot of unknown, a lot of uncertainty. Like sometimes we just don't always have all the answers, and people expect us to, and you just don't. But it was a trying time. It's still a trying time, but you know what? Faith has a lot to do with decisions I make every day, my values, my Christian values that I have every day. And then I get good people around me. I get good people to work for me every day that I depend on them. And not only was I there for 62 days, so was everybody that worked for me. Nobody got a day off for a while. But it was a tough time, but things are getting better. We know a lot more about this virus than we did in the beginning, and we're not defenseless against it anymore. So we know how to deal with it a little better than we did on that. So it's been a trying time, but still, it's part of the job you do. You never get to always pick what's going to happen tomorrow. But you have to be prepared to handle it when it does happen. Just like you do in your life. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but whatever happens, you'll get through it. I'm confident in that. And that's how I believe people are in the state.
Yeah, I know school is a little bit different because all my teachers are wearing masks. So it's kind of hard to see what they look like too. So, and is it hard to be the governor of a state that has big cities and lots of small towns? How do you make it work for everyone?
Yeah, you have to understand Missouri, how important it is, how diverse we are. So you got the big city living, the urban lifestyle that you have, and then you have rural Missouri, like where we're at today in rural Missouri. And realize the importance of both. Both has extremely values that are very important to the state. It's very difficult as governor. Some people will want you to do a blanket policy, want you to make a policy that fits everywhere in the state. It's very difficult to do that when you're governor, because what you affect somebody in St. Louis or Kansas City may have a whole different effect than somebody that lives in a small town. So you have to weigh all that out, much like schools.
Yeah.
A good example is that, the question becomes, do you close schools, do you not? And how do you do that? And it's totally different when you get in the urban areas versus the rural areas, so you have to have different policies for different places. But it's challenging, but as long as you understand who we are in Missouri, what our values are, and that one's just as important as the other. Cities are no more important than rural, and rural is no more important than cities.
Yeah, I know Kansas City might have different rules than Maryville, and it's kind of complicated.
It is, and it's exactly right. But you know what? You have to have faith in the people of the state too. Government can't always tell you what to do, nor should they tell you what to do. Sometimes we all have to have the responsibility to do the right thing. And I think these are part of the times of what we're doing right now. And I think what's considered the right thing in Kansas City may be different right here in your hometown.
Yeah. And if you could say one thing to Missourians, what would it be?
You know, keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the course. You know, this state has been through very many difficult times in our past. We'll make it through this. Everybody's just got to, you know, again, just keep focused on the issues at hand and get through them. And we will get through them. I'm confident of that. And life will go on. We'll all get to enjoy it to the best of our abilities, but you just got to keep moving forward. Every day you got to keep pushing forward. And regardless whether it's as governor, regardless whether it's during a pandemic, every day is like that. Every day for you as a young reporter, tomorrow's a challenge, and you got to meet those challenges. You just got to keep pushing forward, and you're doing that today.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you love the Chiefs. Who do you think is the greatest Chiefs player of all time?
Oh man, I've seen a lot of Chiefs players in my lifetime, but I think probably the one that you better keep an eye on is I think he's in the making. I can't help but believe Patrick Mahomes is going to break a lot of records for that institution. I think one thing about being a Kansas City Chiefs fan for a long time is just the integrity of that organization. You know, I can mention Lenny Dawson, I can mention Devon Cherry, people that I know and I've got to meet. I just think are really good stewards, really good people that represents. But I think that the Kansas City Chiefs organization as a whole just do a very good job of being responsible, a team that sets out this quality example of the players, the coaches, the administration, and I think that's why I'm so proud to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. But you know, I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. That's all there is to it. But I would keep my eye on that guy named Patrick Mahomes. Is what I would do, because I think he's going to be he's something special.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is definitely my favorite too.
Yeah, I'd say he would. All you young fans, that would be him. But it'll be good, be interesting. But look, just be a Chiefs fan. Just stay with him. Be loyal to him.
Yeah, and in school, what was your favorite subject?
You know, besides recess, you know, I would have to say history, because I think it's really important that we understand where our country's been, challenges that we've met over time, and I think it's understand the good, the bad of that,
Yeah.
but you always makes you better. And I think when you look at the history, whether it's in the history books or histories in school, or history of your own family, or you as a 9-year-old, you know, what you've went through in your young lifetime so far is the tools you need to get better every year. So I think history in all of our lives, our personal lives, and our country is important. So I always like the history part of it.
Yeah, I think my favorite subject is probably science, because I like doing experiments and stuff.
Oh, well, let me tell you something on your science. Science is one of probably the fastest growing demands in the workforce development out there. Science and math. I mean, technology is going to be driven, whether it's experience, whether it's in working in a crime lab, whether it's working in the technology side in universities or the private sector. Huge demand for that. So if you stay good at those two things, science and math, you're going to have a real bright future, whatever you want to do, and you'll have fun in that science part of it with experimenting and things on that. That's good.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you're really busy.
Well, thank you for being able to allow me the time to do this interview today, and look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully I'll come to school with you someday, and we'll do a live interview there.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for KMBC 9 News. I will see you next time. Bum, 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 bum.